Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, here with my lovely co-host, Tanya. How are you today, Tanya?
I am fantastic. I'm just still thinking about a wonderful premiere that we had yesterday. And I'm really excited.
Absolutely. It was a wonderful premiere. I don't know if it's just everything all encompassed together, but the last couple seasons, we're a little bit heavier, there's like a lot more, not that I don't want to touch on these bigger issues. Absolutely. I think they're super important, but there was just like a funness and like a lightness. And I was just excited to go on her journey to see what was going to happen in Katie's experience. And I wasn't really feeling that before the season started. So I too 100% was really, really thrilled with this premiere. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about episode 1 of The Bachelorette, season 17. That's Thurston season. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Reality Realness with 3 S's so we can continue to be sharing our coverage of The Bachelorette with you. Join us in the chat because we love to talk to you all, especially Dolores is here. Hello, Dolores. We got Sophie here as well. Who do we think will replace Chris for the future of this franchise? We'll get into that as well, because I think we should talk about the news that went on today, breaking news, and then we'll get into the episode, because it's kind of like an elephant in the room here. It's a big deal. We also have Joseph here. Hello, Joseph. It was a unique premiere. We loved it. I loved it anyways. Hi, Tamika.
Hi.
All right, and Sam's here as well. Amazing.
Hey. So, gang's all here.
Gang's all here to talk about a really great start. Oh, wait. So, okay. Tamika says, I forced myself to watch. Still not a fan of Katie. Loved her men, though, Tayshia and Caitlyn. Exactly. And that's why I think that I was so pleasantly surprised, because I wasn't necessarily a fan of Katie. I'm a fan of Tayshia. I'm a fan of Caitlyn. And I didn't think I was going to be a fan of these men, but I was a big fan of a lot of these men. I was like, you're cute. I like you. You got some sweat. Like, I was very, very taken aback by how much I enjoyed the men more than their profiles.
It was one of the first times in recent memory where I can think going into the rose ceremony, other than maybe a couple of people who I thought were obvious duds. I didn't really know who was going to go, because I felt like actually everyone was an option.
And I still don't officially know who went. Like, I kind of did a process of elimination, but like, maybe they should have started with just less people in the beginning, because some of the people, I didn't even see them on the episode. I was like, oh, I didn't even remember their entry. Did they enter? Like, I don't even remember. Like, they might have been part of that montage bit, like whatnot. So I do wish that we did get to learn a little bit more about this. I think it's 6 or 7 guys that got let go, but I'm happy to see what's going to be happening in this season. Good evening, Mary. Thanks for joining us again this season. Okay, so let's start with the elephant in the room here, and it's the fact that Chris Harrison has officially stepped down from his role as the host of the Bachelor Nation franchise. Now, some people are saying that he got fired. What I think happened is that he wasn't going to be able to come back in the same capacity that he was before. And in order for him to not spill any juicy details of what goes on behind the scenes, he received probably about $50 million settlement to keep his mouth shut. So what do you think about this news in general? Do you think that I have a fair assessment as to what probably went down? And do you think that this is the right way for ABC to handle this entire situation?
So, oh man, I have so many thoughts about this. Okay, so first of all, the settlement amount number for me is so absurd and so huge that I don't even care what Chris does after this. Like, please live off of that money and the money that you've already been overpaid to do the least in your job for the last almost 2 decades. And I hope we will never hear from him again. Unfortunately, I do think that if Chris Harrison were to come back, to TV, I foresee him hosting some type of game show, which seems to align with his target audience of conservative white folks in the US. So that's probably where we'll see Chris at some point in time.
Fair, he can go there.
Yep. I mean, if he decides to come back, because again, $50 million, I think is just fine for him. That being said, I'm super surprised I actually did it. I didn't know, based on kind of some social media activity that was happening, whether he was going to be coming back or not, because some contestants who are like pretty big in the franchise had been commenting on his photos and kind of supporting him and whatever. So I was like, maybe he's coming back, maybe he's not coming back. We heard about Bachelor in Paradise, and then today the news dropped that he will not be returning. So I'm personally really pleased. For the folks out there that are not going to watch the show because he's not there, I don't know what to say. If you were watching it for him to begin with, like, I'm so confused for you. And I encourage you to channel that energy into literally anything else in your life. Literally anything else. Take that passion for anything else other than writing for Chris Harrison, hosting The Bachelor. And that's how I feel about that.
And I'm totally with you there. And the one thing that, okay, fine, he's out and he's removed. I don't know if that's necessarily the best outcome, but like, I'm pleased that they took some action and they followed through with it. So in the terms of like, hey, you did something that we aren't agreeing with, and a lot of the people in the fandom isn't agreeing with, and he seemingly didn't want to do the work that it would take for him to come back and be the host, because I feel like there would be something he could say and do to continue being the host. I feel like he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do the work. He didn't want to be reading the books. He didn't want to be having uncomfortable conversations. Like, he didn't want to be doing that stuff. And so instead, he kind of hardballed them into giving him this settlement because they probably haven't been practicing and in a way that would be very welcome to most of its audience or half of its audience. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the fact that he gets $50 million for being most likely a shittier human being than we even know that he is, like, it kind of bothers me, especially when we're dealing in terms of like race. Like, it all stemmed from race, and there's not one person of color that's ever received a settlement of that source, that amount, to leave a franchise or to step aside from somebody. They've never been paid that much money. So it's just bothersome to me that they're putting in so much money in this man's silence when they could be maybe giving that much to Tayshia or, you know, maybe Michelle when she's the lead. They give her a little bit more money. Like, I just feel as though $50 million is such a huge amount of money that could make a lot of differences in a lot of people whose lives that you're claiming to want to protect and support and be allies with. It just seems a little bit icky, in my opinion.
I agree, especially considering the entire reason that he even at this point lost his job stemmed from his misconduct in an interview, or his racist behavior in an interview that was so appalling to watch. And that's why we're even here today, that he then gets out with a $50 million alleged settlement or payout or whatever, I don't know the correct terminology for it, regardless. $50 million, like, what does he know about what's been happening behind the scenes that they justified the $50 million payout over his salary? You know what I mean? Like, that must be even cheaper. So they're like, no, he's got to go, and we're going to pay him this hush money. Like, what? Yeah, exactly. To Dolores's point here, what's going on, and what does he know? Because that is...
There's nothing I wanted more from Chris Harrison than a tell-all freaking book. Like, I'm sorry, you want to write a book, Chris?
It has the book we want, yeah.
Like, please give me the tell-all. I know he can't do it now. Do you think it's like a 5-year thing, or is it for life? Like, is he completely silenced, or do you think that it's a certain amount of time, or while it's on the air?
Exorbitant amount of money that I'm wondering if he just needs to never say anything. Like, this is like take it to the grave money. This is like, like, you know, like what does he know? Or like, what did he justify? Like, this man says at most 2 minutes worth of material in an episode, and even then he seems quite bothered to do so. Or like, I don't know, the energy of him even compared to Tayshia and Caitlyn, who are not necessarily trying to fill his shoes, but I'm just like, Chris brings such a energy that's like so dark-sided to it. Like from the beginning of Matt's season, it seemed like things were already like so dark and twisted because Chris makes everything seem so somber almost. That I'm just like, what's going on? This is wild. I can't believe it. Like I never thought we would see a season without Chris Harrison, or that he would be let go after this incident, just because there never tends to actually be a consequence for white men. So,
but this isn't a consequence. This is a gain. It's a huge gain.
Sorry. Yes. This is a huge gain. The consequence being that he no longer has his job, but nobody gets fired and then gets $50 million. You know what I mean?
Fired,
so yes, he's actually gotten so much more. Yes.
And Rachel Lindsay, who was just an honest bystander that was doing the interview where it all erupted, is getting hate mail and like is being like, you know, threatened and has to step down from some of her positions and close her Instagram because there's so much hate coming towards her for Chris getting $50 million because he wasn't really kind to her in an interview. Like what?
People are upset about that. That's what I'm so concerned about, honestly. Like the comments that I'm reading, I understand if it's weird to watch the season without Chris as a form of some kind of comfort to people or as a face that you see regularly, thinking of like those hosts that everyone knows and sees all the time and relates to. Like if that's how you feel about Chris, I get it. But like the anger and like the passion that people have for him being the host of this trivial show in life is so baffling to me. Like it's not about Chris at all. And I think it's really interesting that he's become this kind of like figure for people to be like, see what's happening with cancel culture, and getting so angry when again this man just got $50 million allegedly. So wild times.
Like what was the term? Like you said, like halfway in the tens of millions. Was it?
Yeah, halfway. It was 8 figures. Like mid 8 figures or something like that. So I guess that's where this 50 million number came into play. But even if it's just 8 figures, pick any figure that you want of that, and it's still too much money. It's
$10 million would be too much money. $20 million. Like, you know, 20 million sounds more than 50 million at this point. It's like it's just so much money that I can't even believe it. So I do wonder what's going to happen with Lauren Zima. So his girlfriend of 3 years, Lauren Zima, will no longer be the Bachelor franchise expert, etc. Do we know that for sure? Or like, I mean, obviously I would assume so, but like, does she have a contract? Like,
I mean, I feel like we talked about this at earlier before even everything happened, where it's like she probably shouldn't have been covering it anyways, just given her proximity to Chris and her inability to kind of deliver in the same way that she was able to before she was seeing him. So like, I respect her choice in standing by him and doing her thing and returning to her career in her own way. I couldn't put myself in her shoes and know what I would do. And I guess I don't wish him ill. I don't, I don't hope he's, gonna die. I'm like, great, good for you, Chris. Like, it's fine. But I just wanted to clarify, like, the man is just gonna go golf and drink wine and do whatever he wants. So.
I mean, I wish that I had the balls to just go and, like, for instance, Gabriel Union had a huge dispute with America's Got Talent with being wrongfully dismissed. And I don't know what that settlement was, but like she actually was wrongfully dismissed. And like, I don't think she got $50 million. You know what I mean? Like, he was not even, I don't even think dismissed. I think that he was just being suspended momentarily until they could come to some sort of agreement. And he was so like up in arms about this being like how he was being treated that he gets the big guns to go strong arm them into giving him his job back or giving him a lot of money. Woo! Ooh! I think that there's more to the story. That 8-figure payout has me thinking if Chris isn't the sacrificial lamb because Matt's season sucked. Well, all seasons last year weren't great. Like, if I'm going to compare it to this first episode, it wasn't great. And I think the climate of, like, you know, the land that everything was coming out on was too sensitive and too volatile. Like, everybody was experiencing so much with all the things that were going on with Corona and the Black Lives Matter movement and the Indigenous people. Like, there's just like so much hurt and anger going on that, like, I just don't think that it was a good time to be having these seasons. And so comparatively, I didn't enjoy either of these seasons last year if I look at it just purely compared to this first episode. So let's get into this episode. We've talked enough about Chris Harrison.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he has a tell-all coming out, which I will read. I will even read it online. Like, I would love to read that. But until that day comes, hopefully I will have not much more to say about him. Mm-hmm. So we start off. The season looks pretty good from the preview. I was like, okay, this is looking good. And we start with Katie in her hotel room. And this is just being critical, but it does seem that she's not necessarily very comfortable with being on camera, talking on camera. It seems like they're playing up on her being kind of goofy and like silly. There was just one shot that like drove me crazy in the beginning, which was like her being goofy with the yellow bike in like an area where you wouldn't be riding a bike. Like, why are you like pretending like you're not riding a bike in a place where you wouldn't ride a bike? But she was endearing to a certain extent. So what do you think about just like how we're introduced with Katie, other than the bad sash fashion? Because she had one brown plaid crop jacket that was like, I don't know if it would be cute on anybody, and it wasn't cute on her, so she should have said no. Sorry.
I feel like, okay, so one, I'm just going to address the fashion thing really quickly. I feel like the Bachelor stylist, Carrie Fetman, is, I think, not good. I often am like, what are some of these looks that you pull? And why did you choose this for this person? But I do think in the past, some bachelorettes have maybe more of a sense or identity of what their personal style is and can kind of pull off some of the looks that they are told to wear or kind of wear them well. Because Katie lacks personal style from what we understand, I feel like she's probably just wearing whatever they're throwing at her, which is why it's doubly awful with all of the looks that we've seen her in. And I would even include her night one dress. I'm not a huge fan of the color of it or necessarily the fit of it. And like, she looks great because she can carry off a lot of different clothing. She has a great body and like looks good in everything, but I didn't love that look either. So I think that's probably a big discrepancy in the styling, is she herself doesn't really have a voice in terms of how she dresses, purely speculating based on what we've seen of her. So I think that's why it really doesn't translate. Now, her as Bachelorette, I was actually very pleasantly surprised. I think what they're doing is obviously painting her as this relatable girl, the sex positivity. She stands up for what's right. She does her thing, but she's kind of quirky. She's kind of fun. Like, that's the energy that we're getting from her. So I think she's playing that role well. But what I really liked and didn't expect from her, and it comes into play throughout the episode, is she just actually seemed pretty confident. Mm-hmm. And I liked having a lead that wasn't like just overly like buzzing. Like, she was excited. She was clearly like having a good time, and she was nervous maybe, but she seemed confident in the role and confident in herself. And that translated really well to me watching it. And I liked that.
Including when she jumped on the bed in the hotel room and was saying, like, I am the Bachelorette.
Hey, I mean, everyone's got to do a package like that to start off. I would rather see that, as cringe as it is, than, you know, Matt's workouts on the Peloton or someone taking a shower, you know,
outdoor shower, obviously.
Of course.
Okay, true. I mean, yeah, we don't, I guess there's no real, you know, similar, like, I don't know what the word I want to use, parallel to the shower in the bathroom. I guess it is jumping on the bed is equal to shower scene, I guess. We should go look at this, actually. I might do it for next week, is take a look at the opening packages for all the bachelorettes and see if they all jump on a trampoline or on a bed, or if they try on different clothes or something? Like, what do they do that's the same as the Peloton and the shower scenes that the men do?
Yeah. Because I feel like they're like, we can't show a woman showering. We can't possibly be that gratuitous and misogynistic. But I also feel like maybe tonally, there's been like some discussion online about like maybe production changing or like maybe more women being in production or whatever. But like I kind of felt that as well. Like this didn't have a lot of the gags and weird things that it would have had in the past to like kind of be like, dude, he's so hot, like it wasn't like about guys like saying stuff like that. It was kind of like, I don't know, they just got to things quicker, and it didn't have that weird tint of like, let's make this bombshell like strut her stuff. I don't know if it's the format being different or whatever, but it didn't feel as tinted in the way that it normally is, and I don't know what specifically that was.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is yet. Maybe hopefully it'll unfold. It could be because we have no expectations as to what Katie's going to be like. So we're not already deciding what the season's going to be like. So it's kind of all a little bit new and surprising. Maybe that's would be my first guess. I did love how we kind of learned a little bit about her upbringing. I love seeing old photos of people. She even was looking at actual real photographs. Shocker, they still exist. Not everything is online. There was a Polaroid I saw there. So yeah, she moved around schools a lot. She, I believe, was from a single parent home. And so it was nice to see like her humble beginnings and see that. And I think it gives like hope to anybody that's kind of similar to Katie, that there is love for her and that they will get this kind of opportunity. So I do like that it shows that for people that are a little bit less bombshelly, you know, a little bit more everybody else, like a beautiful regular girl.
And to clarify, she's obviously like beautiful. And
yes,
I think like in person, like probably like above average, like stunning. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because of what you said. Like we don't really know what to expect. That it's also easier as a viewer to project like yourself into her position a bit more. Like she's kind of like this like person that you can see yourself in or see how she fits into the big picture, because she's not like an Emily Maynard, a JoJo, like so like she's just literally Katie. So I don't know if I think that's a good thing for the viewer, because you can kind of place yourself in her shoes.
Yeah, it's not more like fantastical. It's like it's a little bit more relatable. So yeah, yes. I totally agree. And this is something that's different because most of the women, not most, but some of the women are really like, wow, you're like, you must have always had men just falling over you. Yes, you know what I mean? Like exactly. And so it doesn't seem like that's a position that she's regularly been in, which I think is very interesting to see somebody that's not always having a gazillion guys just all over them, how she navigates this journey. So I think that it's definitely really relatable. So I was kind of keeping my eyes out for what I thought the theme of the season is, or what her tagline is. And the first one that I came across was, "I'm ready for the love that I deserve." So that's what I feel like it is so far. Did you notice any maybe taglines or season through lines that we might be looking at?
I think there was one moment that stood out to me where she was like, I've dated people and I've seen people, but it's never been right. Like it just doesn't feel right for me. So I think it's like not for lack of experience, but she just hasn't found that exact person that really person. So I think that's her thing. And then of course, obviously the sex positivity was dropped like maybe like 4 or 5 times, which honestly we've come a long way since Caitlin was the Bachelorette, where she was slut shamed for sleeping with someone before the fantasy suite. So I'm happy to see the evolution. Kind of even having Caitlin there too kind of feels like we're evolving into this next phase of the Bachelorette and Bachelor franchise. And I don't know, it just felt like a renewed energy. I'm into it. I'm here for the change. I like it.
Me too. Okay, so I loved the Thelma and Louise kind of style that they brought Caitlin and Tayshia into the frame. You see them. I even think they had the scars on their head in a convertible, like on an open stretch of land. Like, I mean, at that point in Thelma and Louise, if you haven't seen the movie, it's a different ending than maybe them driving up to the mansion, but. I loved it. Did you love it?
Oh, I liked it because I was like, here we go. Let's start the party. Like, I think both of them have an awareness that they're not necessarily filling Chris's shoes. Like, it feels like their role is kind of different. And maybe it's because the season is more transitional and remains to be seen if the show chooses to replace the host and have a more traditional host in that spot. But for now, we have both of them. And I feel like they're embodying this dynamic duo in a really cool way. But didn't it remind you of in Love Island when they first drive up to the villa and they're always in a convertible?
Yes, I love that from Love Island.
I was getting that energy. I was just like, okay, we're gonna have fun, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, you're really right. They did also that scene with I'm forgetting what the host's name of Love Island, but she was also hers was I think a mint green convertible by herself though, driving down the stretch of land in Vegas. And so it was kind of a similar vibe, even that, that's part of the scene, but I definitely loved it. I was all smiles. I'm like, yeah, let's make this fun again. Like, falling in love doesn't have to be so serious, you want to be having a good time. And so I really think, Tayshia's already really giggly and so is Caitlin's like really silly and funny. I just was ready for the energy that they were going to be bringing to the role. And I was hoping that there was going to be a little bit of making fun of like the tropes of Chris Harrison and like, the lines that he says. I was hoping that they would poke a little fun at it. So I was excited.
Yeah.
I loved it. So they're pulled up to the Hyatt Regency Tamaya Resort and Spa. Where was this again?
I honestly don't know. I didn't
Yeah, I don't remember either. But, this is the ultimate girl gang, they claim to call themselves, and they want to introduce the men. So let's go through with these men. And do you think you could like write down the points as we go through? Just like maybe just do like a tally, like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. And then just let me know at the end, just so I don't have to flip pages back and forth. Okay, so one of the points that we are giving out today is going to be for people that receive some home packages. So whether or not, they show a little bit of their lives. We have, for instance, the first guy, which is Conor B. He's playing a ukulele in a bathtub. And he's playing Furlise, which is a classic piano piece. I played it in piano when I was like 12. He's a math teacher and a musician, which we didn't know about, I don't think, before. So I was really upset that I didn't snag one of the Conors there because I was like, math teacher, mad, but musician, I would have been like, yeah, I want those points. So you're getting 2 points there, I guess, or 10 points there.
I've never been happier that I chose someone in my life than picking Conor, the gift that kept giving this episode. I was like, from a points perspective, and also even just from a Katie perspective, like I was surprised, but pleasantly surprised. And then when I saw this package, I was like, I feel like having the first video package is also a good sign.
Yes, it definitely is a good sign. So Conor, we've learned, is Pisces. Now, Pisces is a pretty good match with Capricorn. We generally want to have the feminine signs go together. So Earth and water are both very feminine and they work really well together. So just looking at their sun signs, that's a good match for them. So it's a good start as well with them astrologically being kind of aligned. Well, okay, so next up we have Karl Smith. He was the motivational speaker. At least I got him, right? Yeah.
No, you do. Yeah.
And shows him with some kids. So I was pretty happy about that. So at least I got some points for Karl here for having a package. Was there anything that surprised you about Karl?
I think he's going to be a good person to have on your team. Just even the way he was navigating a lot of this night. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but he was the one that was like, you guys need to get time with her. Like, you need to go chat with her. And was kind of like starting to stir things up a bit in that way. So I was like, oh, he'll be an interesting player for sure. So I think you're in good hands with Karl, the motivational speaker.
I mean, I didn't know how my list right in front of me when I was watching, but I was kind of like, oh boy, I don't know. Like, it looks like from what I could remember that Tanya has a lot of people that were going to be getting some points this episode. I'm like, I didn't even want to look. So we're looking now, but I was like, man, she's going to have like double my points, I think, this episode.
No, you've got some good ones, trust.
But there's like a couple people that I'm like, oh, I love that person. I wish I had them on my team. So another package that we received was from Brendon, 26 from Toronto, the firefighter. I feel like I have him. Do I have him?
Yes.
Brendon? I do. Brendon, so Brendon's a Scorpio, and let me tell you, Karl is a Sagittarius. So I don't think Karl necessarily is going to do that well with Katie long term. I don't know if their vibes will mesh as well as maybe some of the other signs, but Brendon's a Scorpio. So Scorpio also is a water sign. So Scorpio will do well with Capricorn, which is an earth sign. So just sign-wise, I would think that Brendon would do better than Karl, but I'm happy to have them both. So at least I got some points here. Ooh, okay, hold on. Joseph says, Karl will score me lots of points, I think. Even if he doesn't win, I can see Katie keeping him for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, everyone's a Canadian firefighter. Do you know what? I know a few, though. I do know, like, my friend's partner, boyfriend, I don't know if they got married or not yet, but husband-ish, he actually was a firefighter with Kevin. And so, like, I actually kind of, like, not know him, but, like, it is a thing. There are a lot of firefighters that, like, they kind of all know each other.
Not everyone is a firefighter, but a lot of people who
apply for the show.
Yeah, frequent The Bachelor are probably firefighters or firefighter trainees.
Or they're like in the same, like, you know, imagine that they're, you know, in the same, I don't know, training group or something like that. And then they see one guy, you know, Kevin, he's a firefighter and he's like, he doesn't work there anymore. But like they hear the lore of like, oh, he went on The Bachelor and now he's like famous. Like, so I think a young 26-year-old firefighter trainee, it's kind of an appealing world to maybe dive into US television reality. So I don't know. I feel like
a good place to cast contestants for this show. So
good. There's so many people.
I think he's also going to score you a lot of points because I got a feeling he'll stick around for a bit, at least because as you said, he knows Blake. So curious to see how that will play out. And also, I don't know, he seems like he could be villainous, maybe. Like,
well, but he also, to me, he really seems like he likes Katie. Like, I don't know if it's just like he's putting an act on, but he's just kind of like, I just can't wait to meet her. Like, she's just like, you know, like it seems like he's very eager to potentially fall into a relationship with her. And he's 26. I just don't see him being that calculated that early. I feel like it's quite earnest. So I'm hoping that he will have a little bit of a puppy love thing with her and maybe I'll get some point line. I don't see him going very soon. I want you to write these down. This is you. This is me. This is me. So next we have Andrew, who I'm very sad that I do not have. Look at you. Like, if I knew he was an Aquarius, obviously I would have taken him. Because like I've always support Aquarius and he's the only one on the cast and there wasn't one on that season. So I would have definitely taken him, but he's a football player from Austria. You know, he does some TikTok Carlton dances in his package. I thought he was kind of funny. A lot more likable in his package than he was just reading his bio. And we'll talk about him more later, but he's great. Like he was really fun. And I loved his vibe.
Yeah, same. I was like, when I saw his photo, I was like, this guy seems like a jokester. Like, he's got a lot of energy, and he really did. So I'm excited for Andrew. I really like him.
I really like Andrew. We also have Mike, 31, exercising in his hotel room. And then we see the classic flipping pages to the Bible. You know, you gotta have that with the close-up of the cross.
I was screaming because when we saw his photo, I was like, there's that gleaming cross. Like, I know something's going to happen. And then he said he's a virgin and went on that whole like explanation about his religion. And I was like, I am so pleased about this working out exactly as I thought I would. Like,
that was like the best one. I'm like, wow. Because like I don't know if like what's happened in the you know the preview, but it looks as though he loses his virginity to her and then like is like having regret or something. I'm like, what?
I think she's probably like, my guess is like maybe they'll have like a connection of some kind, and then he will really seriously question if the virginity thing's going to be a deal breaker for him with Katie, and have that whole storyline play out. But yeah, I just thought he was going to be super religious, and like that was going to be its own thing. I didn't even think about the virgin possibility, and when that happened, I actually shrieked. So I love it. Thanks, Mike.
Wow. So Tamika is saying that his cousin is Clay. What that is as an Andrew. So B Beans agreeing with this. So Andrew S is Clay Harper's cousin. I did hear that someone was. I didn't know who it was actually. That was the cousin.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, if I really had known that, I might have even like tried to gravitate towards him, because anybody that has like a link, I'm always going to think that they would have gotten some heads up on like how you stay in the game longer. Like they would kind of get some tells. So if I'd known a little bit more about Mr. Andrew, I would have snagged him up way sooner. We have Justin, who I think is super duper cute. He's painting roses. He is a Gemini, I believe. Is he my guy or your guy? He's probably your guy, because like I was mad. Yeah, he's your guy. And also, yeah, Mike is your guy, and he's a Libra. So I don't know if in the end, and Libras are all about relationships, and that's ruled by Venus. If he's a virgin, man, that's might be a big problem. He might really get his heart broken. But yeah, so Justin is a Gemini.
It's not funny, but it is kind of funny.
What? Will the virgin be believed after the Colton disaster? This guy, I believe more as a virgin than whatever Colton was giving off. Colton, there was always something that didn't really make full sense. Like there was just something that was off, or just something that was like, I felt like he was lying. So I feel like this guy is being a little more like honest and truthful with himself. So I'd say no. Hope not. Yeah. But no, I don't think that he's gonna have a big scandal. We next get Trey playing a harmonica. His parents are still married. I think did I have Trey in the end, or did you?
You have Trey. You have Trey.
Okay, yeah, it's my last pick. But I actually ended up liking him way more than I thought I was going to be liking him. So I guess I get both points for the harmonica, and then for the package, playing an instrument. That means that might come out again. Maybe a little serenade will happen. So love anybody that brings an instrument of some sort to the game, points wise anyways. Yes, and Trey he's a Capricorn. So this could bode well for Katie. So I'm happy to see that. And then the person that I heard that she gave the first impression rose to somebody, but I didn't know who it was. And dang it, it's Greg. Greg, 27, the youngest of 4. Didn't really see it coming. We'll probably talk more about that whole scene, but he was, he had a package, and he seemed like a genuine, sweet guy, and he's your team. And where is he? And he's a Libra. Oh, no, wait, sorry. He's Greg. Greg is right there.
Gemini.
He's Gemini. Ooh, so I don't know if that's going to work out later. Geminis are usually quite flirty, social butterflies, so they might get along in that aspect. But I don't know if they'll connect maybe later down the road with like just sentiment and how things kind of meld together. But right off the bat, he's definitely going to be, you know, catch your eye. But I don't know if they'll match later on. But good pick. So next we see Katie. You know, she thinks that she's doing it alone. She's out standing outside. Like, okay, how much do you think that she knew that she's doing it alone, or it was said like what? How? Where is the truth here? Because then we see Tayshia and Caitlin barefoot sneaking around the corner, trying not to giggle, to surprise Katie that she's not doing it all alone. Come on inside. We need to talk before we start this.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure she must have known that she wasn't doing it alone. I don't know if she knew necessarily that it was going to be Caitlin and Tayshia, but like also probably, you know, like you never do it alone. You never do it alone. Even if there was no host, they don't always, but they often bring in past leads to offer advice. So yeah, I think that was just purely a setup for that reveal.
I mean, I liked it. I liked that it was kind of cute. I liked, for me, it seems to have what I like about Bachelor in Paradise kind of trickling into the season. And that's kind of the lightheartedness and like knowing that it's cheesy, like and giggling and like, you know, girls like, let's talk about boys. Like, I like that energy that it's bringing to it. It's not, as I said before, that serious. Like, I'm happy that this is how it went down. It was just cute. And so they kind of go inside and they start chatting. They asked her like, okay, so what was the top 2 questions that you wish that you knew? That's what Katie asked the 2 girls. And so they only kind of answered one. And I wanted to hear their other answer for that. So I guess it didn't make it. It got cut. But they said, don't rule out anyone night 1, which I think is a great point, is that, you know, night 1, everybody's tensions are high, everybody's super nervous, like you're nervous, you're not used to this role, you're not even sure what you're feeling. So I totally get that and agree with that, but I want to hear the second point.
Yeah, I feel like the editing was like kind of like interesting the entire episode. I'm not necessarily upset by it because it feels like we got to everything so quickly. Like I didn't feel like we were languishing in certain scenes. Like I feel like we got to each segment fast, to the point where I was actually surprised that we had reached the end of the episode. I was like, oh my God, that was 2 hours. Okay, cool. Like usually I'm like doing something else when I'm watching, in the sense where I'm like checking my phone or whatever. Like there's many moments where I've been double screening watching this show, or especially on that first view. But this time my attention was there the entire time and it moved quickly. So I feel like that was why, like, even that cut off. There's another point later, editing wise, that I'll mention as well, that I was like, what's happening here? But yeah, it just seemed like things were just like moving along. In certain cases, I kind of wish we got a little bit more. Like here, I would have liked to hear that answer. But yeah, it was just, the pacing was interesting.
So some interesting points here. So with Harrison gone permanently, they can stop pretending that they were not hosts, and as opposed to just guides. Yeah, I mean, I think that they could still be both. Like, it would be nice if, you know, maybe Tayshia at the beginning, or even both of them, was like, hey, we're here to see Katie's journey, join us on our journey of the Bachelorette, blah blah blah, and then like, hey, we're here as your guys, we're also here to host the show. Like I think I want to see them do both, instead of like there being nobody kind of hosting. I do want some of them talking to the audience a little bit. So that's like my personal preference, but I think everybody's feeling out how this is going to work out. So I'm not really going to dock them any points yet, because it's a very new thing. But I like that they are being a guide to Katie, and I think that's going to be good, especially because they've both been through this before. Just back to Katie's outfit. I think, I don't know if it's just me, but I think what I didn't like most about it was that she wasn't wearing fake lashes. I think that's That's what like really just, I wanted her to just look pow. I love fake lashes so much. If I'm going to any sort of event, I will always get my makeup done and get fake lashes. Like it's just, it makes your eyes open up. And like, I think everybody just looks so great with fake lashes. And I think that she didn't have them on, or they were very, very subtle. And maybe that's why I wasn't so like, wow, Katie, you look amazing. Because, you know, she didn't have that pop of those lashes. So I like the color of the dress. Go ahead.
I think her hair and makeup looked good, actually. I liked it. She didn't look overdone, which I appreciated. Because sometimes, like, I don't know. I don't know. She looked good. Like she did look good. But I don't know. I was also reading on Bachelor data that like she's one of the first leads for Bachelorette that has worn a colorful dress, and that most of the past leads have worn things in the palette of like neutrals and like kind of metallics, so like a silver, a gold, a cream white like color. So that's also interesting that she had like this kind of like bright orangey red dress, but I just felt like the dress wasn't a wow for me. That like I didn't feel like, oh wow, this dress is gorgeous, this gown, like it was very meh.
It was a nice dress, but like it was just kind of like, it was lacy, it was reddish, and like it looked good. Like she looked good, but I think that she looked like an 8 when I wanted her to look a 10. Like that's basically where I'm at here. Sam loved the dress. I thought it was just okay. It was okay. It was all right.
I rarely like the night one dresses, to be honest, though. Like I was looking back at photos of the past ones, and remember Claire's? That was so bad. It had like all those like circly like silver pieces on it. I was like, whoa, some of these were not cute. So hopefully the styling gets better with time.
I don't think it will, because as you've already mentioned, that Katie doesn't seem to have her own sense of style. So she might not know, like she might be like, yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks good, but doesn't know what looks great on her. So yeah, like, I mean, I thought she looked pretty, but I didn't feel like she looked like she had a glam squad doing her hair and makeup for 4 hours. You know what I mean? Which I wanted a little bit of that just to see. I love dressing up myself. And so if I ever get the opportunity to go all out, makeup and hair and outfit wise, like I usually am going to go to that next level. But again, I'm an Aquarius, so we usually like to do things very extra. So she's also a Capricorn, so she might not have felt comfortable with being super pa-bam. So fine. So anything else with, they talk about whether or not she would kiss somebody night one. She said that she would. She needs a grown-ass man. And I thought one thing that gave me a little bit of goosebumps is that they said, can you believe it, that somebody might get out of that limo and you might get that feeling, that zing, that this might be your person. And I was like, oh, that's cool, though. That's really cool that you might get that zing. So I was happy that they said that. And I got goosebumps when they said that. So it made me feel as though she's going to meet her person on this one. It felt like it for me.
I do believe that she's actually looking for someone. And I don't know if that's like her being great at fitting that mold and playing that part convincingly, or that's actually her intention. We'll see. But I do think she seems like someone to me that's in a place in her life that's ready to find their person. But
yes, and she does mention a few times, like, and an engagement and an engagement. Like she said that multiple times in the episode. Yeah. So I don't think that they're coaxing her to say that. I think that it must be what she wants, to make it very clear that that's what she's expecting in the end. And if you're not ready to go there, like, get to step in. So I hope that people respect that, because like that's kind of what Rachel Lindsay got a lot of flack for, is that like people are like, you should have chose Peter. You had better chemistry with them. We like Peter more than we like Brian. And Peter wasn't willing or ready to give her the commitment that she came to the show looking for. And the producers didn't even give her the edit so they could see her falling in love with Brian. They made it look as though she didn't care for Brian at all. And so it was really unfair, obviously, for Rachel Lindsay to not be able to have their love story really be telegraphed fairly. But, it just shows, though, that like she wanted the proposal at the end, and that's what she got, and she's married now. So
yeah, exactly.
Having these like, this is what I want, and people living up to that, it kind of works, at least for a couple years. So with, Colton, like, give me a promise ring, and, who knows what's going to happen with Matt and his promise ring or whatever ring that was. Like, I highly doubt any of these men are going to get married to these women that they, proposed to or didn't want to. So, all right, let's get through these limo entrances. We don't need to talk a lot about all of them, but they start in sync together. Let the journey begin. Limo 1 comes around the corner, and we have Thomas out of the limo. He's kind of cute. He's tall. I thought that he spoke really well. He reminds me of Josh Murray.
Chantele, I literally wrote down a point. Chantele, is Thomas your type because he's giving me Josh Murray vibes?
He's so my favorite.
I swear. We're on the same page here. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, I need to actually write this down and tell her when we film, because I knew you were going to say that.
I said that. I agree with that. I think that he's definitely the cutest. We always were making fun of Josh Murray in Paradise because he was so sweaty. I don't think that they had the air conditioning going on at the Hyatt Resort, because like the men were sweaty.
Everyone was sweating so much. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it was wool suits indoors. Like, I don't know, but like it looked like the aircon was not working. So we had a really sweaty cutie, Thomas, and Thomas, he's probably better for me because Thomas, he's my guy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he? There he is. And he's a Gemini, and I get along with Geminis, so he's cute. I hope he stays around for a while, but I don't know if he's going to be a match for Katie. Next up, I can't believe you called me out. Hilarious.
For sure. I had to. I wanted to know if that's what you thought as well.
So Erin, I wrote down nice smile, and thumbs up, and she gave the thumbs up to the girls. I don't remember Erin. Oh wait, Erin's the young kind of guy. Yeah, I didn't really. He kind of seemed a little young and a little bit awkward, like first time wearing a suit type thing.
Is he one of the ones that's like gets into that random altercation later?
Is that the edit that you're like?
Yeah.
So can we know what happened here?
I was so confused by that because I actually thought I had missed something. And now I'm finding out that that's just how we got thrown in. And I was like, this isn't an HBO drama. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand the context of this fight at all. And I didn't know if I just completely missed it. But I guess that's what they chose to do. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into the episode, because they're creating something there that I don't understand where it stemmed from. So it's very interesting. Sorry, Bean, what do you mean? That's what Nick Vial said, that he reminds you of Josh Murray?
Probably.
Or that there's no air conditioning. Okay, so next up we have David. I thought that he was handsome, but I thought his pants were too short. I just don't know how I feel about the look with the suit, with the crop pants and ankles out. I'm not sure how I feel. What about you?
So I said, are those clogs with capris? Because I was very not happy with the shoe choice with the crop. Like,
yeah.
Personally, I don't love a cropped pant like that. That being said, I think with a different pair of shoes that weren't like these big bulky brown shoes alongside that look, it was very off balance for me.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't feeling the look, even though he's very handsome. And like, I feel like he kind of has style, but like, I don't know. It wasn't working for me, those crop pants. I remember last season, or the beginning of Claire's season, I think his name was Jordan M, and he was super, like 6'7", and he was also wearing crop pants, but like it was like this much was the crop, and I was like, that's not cute. That don't look good.
Yeah, like these were like felt like capris, literally. Like they were capri length. It wasn't even an ankle pant. Like they were high up. So I don't know about that.
I mean, I can do that as like a loungewear, like more loungewear look, crop pants like that. But I'm not really digging the suit with the crop pants. It's not. I'm not feeling it. It's not like why don't you just go for the crop, like the shorts, like like a short suit, which is terrible. But like you might as well just go there. Oh yeah, yes. I guess that's it. Oh, right. All right. Yes, they did.
How could we forget?
Yes, they did.
Classic rivalry.
Okay, so you get a point coming up here. So Michael, is it you or do I have Michael? Oh, I have Michael.
I think you have Michael.
I have Michael, you have Mike. So yes. Michael, I've got something for you. It's a 200-year-old heirloom. Just kidding. I got it at the airport, but I just want to remind you that time was precious. Okay, kind of whack, kind of lame, but I get some points for the effort. Any thoughts about Michael? He's the single dad, correct? I think so.
Yes, I believe so. So has children. That's probably will get you some points at some point in this. I was on Katie's page of being like, oh God, don't give me this watch that's like actually so valuable. And then when he's like, I'm joking, I was like, ha ha. You know, like I felt very underwhelmed by all of it. But I guess he tried to do something memorable that wasn't so cringy. So
yeah,
kudos to try.
How could he have made that land a little bit? Like if he made it even more outlandish, being like I guess the story had to be bigger for it to land. Because it just was like, oh, it's not an heirloom? Okay. You gotta okay. But like it's just like, okay, 200-year-old heirloom in your family is not that big of a deal anyways. So
I think it's one of the smarter approaches when you come out of the limo, and I especially noticed it in this premiere, to have that, not a brand for yourself, but like that thing that when she comes to find you later, she will remember you by, but that's not like something like you came in a dolphin suit or whatever. Like, while those things are also memorable, I just think, like, same with Andrew, we'll get there with the accent, like just having something where when you connect later on, then it'll be something that she immediately remembers and it connects you, but it's not you coming in a costume or you doing coming in an RV or whatever. Like, I think those are really smart approaches for the most part. Although Katie seems to like the big gesture ones as well, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta remember, this is not me. They're not trying to get me here. So,
yeah, I'd be like, who's the most normal? That's who I like the most.
Right? Like, I mean, it'd have to be done really well if you're gonna get me with a gimmick. I don't know what gimmick would work, but it has to be done really well. Otherwise, like, it would make me dislike somebody, most likely. Yeah. So thanks for the points, Michael. We have another point going for Trey. I'm going to get here. So he pulls up in a pickup truck with a ball pit in the back, which I thought was pretty awesome. Like, I guess we just had Big Brother Canada and there was a ball pit room. So I'm like, you know, living for the ball pit right now. I thought it was a decently cute idea. Wasn't too obnoxious. Kind of similar to what you were saying about the watch. It's not too over the top, but it's something that can be a talking point later. And we do realize later that they have a little mini date where they go and they have their drinks and they sit inside the ball pit. So I think that it was a great moment for them to be silly together and get into that ball pit. So it had double usage. So yeah, and he's here to have a ball with Katie. So he got to throw in a pun.
Yeah, and it was like that pun is kind of cringy normally, but it worked. He seems very genuine. He seems very fun and actually fun. Like, she seemed at ease around him. I really liked Trey, as we discussed, way more than I thought I would, based on just our complete judgment of their profiles, their random profiles. But like, he stood out to me, and even his commentary about the other men, and just like he has like a degree of awareness to him. So he was a really great positive surprise. I really enjoyed him out of most of the guys, to be honest.
Definitely agreed. I was very surprised. So just to mention those, so David with the short pants, he's a Gemini, so I don't see him necessarily going too far. But he's super handsome, so he might stick around for a couple episodes. But like, I don't know if they're going to connect. Andrew M. Did we mention what his sign was? Andrew, where are you, Andrew? I feel like it was something good for her. Where is he? Did I not put him on this new one?
Virgo. He's a Virgo.
Where is he though? Why can't I see him? Oh, there he is. Right.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Center top row.
Andrew, Andrew is the Aquarius. Where's the other Andrew? Oh, Andrew M is the Virgo. Okay. Yes. Correct. Oh, I skipped over him. Oh my God. So yes, Andrew M, he said, I came here for you. So he didn't really have that much of an interesting entrance. And then Trey, as we already talked about, is a Capricorn. And then Michael with the kid is a Taurus. So potentially could be good for Katie, another Earth sign. Limo number 2 happens, and your guy over here, Greg, comes out of the limo. He's really, really nervous, and it kind of becomes part of their conversation. Like, don't be nervous. It's okay. You don't have to be nervous. I'm here. Like, it's okay. You don't have to be that nervous. So that was interesting to me that she was taking a lot of time saying, don't be nervous. To still be that attracted to him. You know what I mean? Like, would be like, hey, man, chill out. Like, you don't have to be nervous around me. But yeah, so he was happy that she was the Bachelorette. And she said that he looks like her ex-boyfriend. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, if you look like someone's ex-boyfriend and it seems like it was an amicable split, or it didn't seem like, oh, it looks like my ex-boyfriend. So I thought it would look positive on Greg doing well. Any initial thoughts on Greggy?
I put great play, bashful / shy. I think that approach is really interesting. I find it interesting because I don't know that that's what I'm attracted to in a personality, but she seems to really kind of like guys that are more in that vibe. I would put Conor also in that same kind of like shy guy situation. That being said, it did seem like he actually was that way. So it's interesting. And even like, so when we did the draft, I'm like, this person is like your prototype Bachelorette contestant. Like, he looks exactly like a person that would make it far. In motion, even more so. That dark hair, dark floppy hair, like just like classically like attractive person. Like, he literally just looks exactly like someone who makes it far in this show. So I wasn't surprised at all by everything that he offered, and I'm not surprised that people like him. I'm not surprised. Like, clearly he was presented in a way where we're supposed to think of him as a front runner, obviously.
Yeah.
So
he's cute. He is cute. But he's an air sign, if I remember correctly. So with him being a Gemini, I'm gonna see if I can find eventually his full chart. So like we can see if he has other planets that are in Earth or water that might be more compatible, or his Venus and stuff like that. So just to see if like their charts actually match better than just their initial sun signs. But yeah, like he was really cute. But I was like, okay, like I don't want some nervous guy, but if I was a Capricorn, maybe I would, like, because they're usually very strong, they're very loyal, they usually know what they want, Capricorn, and maybe they work well with water signs. That's more emotional people, and so maybe that she's used to people being a little more emotional. She vibes well with that. So because
she's comfortable being the person who is. I don't want to conform to any type of specific role, but I think she's comfortable being the person who's like wearing the pants, so to speak, or more in control or initiating. Like, she's very clearly an initiator, as evidenced in her kissing as well. Like, even when she wasn't instigating it, she was receiving and offering. Like, she was in and she was comfortable and she wanted to, like, I feel like maybe for someone like her, these guys who have these slightly more shy personalities or more reserved personalities are good, because she's not afraid to be the person to like just engage and be that starter. So it could be a really good match for her, but we'll see.
I'm definitely interested to see how it goes down. The next person that came around was your guy, Mr. Gabriel, I was upset he wasn't wearing a turtleneck, to be fair. And I wasn't sure if this was a gimmick or not. If you feel like it is, we could definitely give you the points here. So he wants to do the favorite hug. And so they hug and then they breathe together, and I felt it was very awkward. It's kind of a gimmick. It's not really an entrance thing. I'm not sure what you thought.
It was just so uncomfortable. Like, he said, "This is one of my favorite hugs," implying that he has many different hugs that he uses from time to time. I'm like, what are you talking about? Nobody says that, first of all. And I'm so disappointed. I thought he was going to be like maybe someone who stuck around as like a troll, and he did not live up to my draft expectations. He's one of my biggest disappointments of the night. And I did not like this limo entrance whatsoever. It made me feel extremely uncomfortable.
But does it deserve 5 points? Is it a gimmick or not?
I mean, is it a gimmick? I don't know. Okay, it's just a really awkward hug. I'll put a star beside it.
Okay.
We might have to discuss that after reviewing the tapes.
Sure. Next up, we have another person that's your guy. We got John here. So we had originally watched a little clip of John before the season actually started. You got really excited when you saw this clip. They have a kind of a little awkward meeting, whatever, but they're both kind of giggly and smiley, and he walks away and she says, "That's my type." And then he turns around and then she's like, "Did he hear me?" So it seemed to me kind of like puppy love, like teenage love. It was very cute. I don't know if I see him being a husband yet. He seems quite young to me, but I thought that they were cute together.
He looks like if Woody from Toy Story was a
real
God, person.
I can't believe you said this. I was like, I didn't want to say it. I was like, he looks like a cartoon of Woody.
But like, I mean that in like somehow the most complimentary way. Like, it's almost like his skin was like perfectly airbrushed and his cheeks were like perfectly pink. And he just looked like so like wholesome and sweet. And I was like, you look like you're from Toy Story, but as a person. And I was like, I'm intrigued. I don't know. He seemed like nice enough. He seemed personable and he seemed cute. I don't know. When she said "that's my type" in the clip, it was edited to seem like, ooh, like she likes John. Oh. I think in the context of the show, it wasn't that heavily like, oh, I'm obsessed with this person. So yeah, he's interesting. I think he'll be around for a bit.
Yes, he's a Capricorn, so that bodes well for Miss Katie. Sam didn't find John attractive at all. He's not my type. He's very cute, and I think that he would make cute babies. He looks like he has some strong genes that would like be very complimentary to offspring. But I personally don't want to jump his bones. How come nobody has popped out of a cake? I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I know a girl, like 1 degree, like a friend of a friend. She was on Bachelor Canada, and like the producers really are heavy-handed in these gimmicks and gags. So for her, they forced her to get into a cake. It was the lead's birthday, and they're like, "Okay, you're gonna get into this cake and you're gonna jump out of this cake and sing him happy birthday." And she's like, "I don't want to do that." And like she didn't really want to do it. They did force her or encourage her heavily to jump out of the cake. So maybe, that producer wasn't on set that day, but yeah, no cake.
I feel like the cake pop, it's not a good way to go historically in the show. Olivia Caridi coming out of the cake in that challenge from Ben Higgins season was very cringe, and I think actually a traumatic moment for her as well, based on the way she's talked about it afterwards. I'm like, I don't know if the cake move is the one.
It's not the one.
I feel like they'll definitely make you seem kind of crazy for doing the cake move. So yeah, like, and I mean by they, I mean they'll edit it to look like with that like kind of clowny music underneath. That's like like a silly music that they do. Yeah.
Yes. Definitely the troll, like the dumb music.
It's like a trombone music. It's just they always play that when it's like a silly like thing that happens. That's what would happen with a cake entrance. So if you want that, go for it. But
if you want to last in the show, you better not do the cake entrance. So next they had a big montage. So do we think that these montage people are just not going to be on the show? So part of the montage is Garret. Actually, I'll tell what their signs are while we're going through it. So
this is the rush montage of people just put through. Yeah.
Just like, let's like flip through here. So Garret, he's a Capricorn, so he could be decently a good match for her, but we didn't really see much of him. Austin, where is Austin? He's probably my guy, probably. I feel like I have that name.
Yeah.
Oh, Austin, yeah, he's my guy. He's a Libra. Marty, that's the dancer. He's your guy. He's a Taurus. Landon, he's my guy. He's a Leo. Karl, where's Karl? I feel like Karl is somebody who was good, wasn't he? I need to like learn who these people are. Karl. Oh, Karl is our motivational speaker guy. So he's part of that montage.
Yeah, he was. He's the only one that I think of that montage that is.
Well, he did get a package, so that hopefully that bodes well for him sticking around a little bit. And then we come to Josh. So Josh, they wanted to focus in on this meeting. So he says that he's 60% optimistic, 20% excited, 20% nervous, and 100% here for you. Would that get you? Would that
absolutely
be something?
Not? That's like a t-shirt that you buy, like, you know, that says like 99% angel, 1% devil. Like, it's like, why? Like, I don't like quotes like that ever, unless it's like my GeoCities webpage and I made like a blingy font to display that. Like, no, I don't want it.
Well, he is a Cancer though, so Cancers will do well with Capricorn. So they're showing him, so that bodes well, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, he's on my team, so I really hope he's got some more up his sleeve.
I hope so. Okay, we got another gimmick. We got Andrew, our guy Andrew. Oh man, like old car. Give me the old car. I'm into it, Andrew. Like, you know, it's like a nice chauffeur-driven car. He comes out with a British accent, and he speaks to Katie with this accent. And he did it pretty good. It was a pretty good British accent, I thought. Later on, she was like, oh, like, I didn't think that you'd be here with like an accent in like this times. And I'm like, people would still have a British accent that were born in England if they moved after they were in puberty. But anyways, besides that, he does say, just kidding, I'm from Chicago. And then, I don't know if you noticed, but the villain music started playing underneath. And I'm wondering, is he going to be the villain? He did start narrating a lot of the episode from this introduction to him. And I'm wondering if he's going to become a villain.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, he's going to be something. So I'm excited for that. I liked him. I thought like the accent work was pretty funny, actually. I think he landed it well, where she was like, okay, I thought that you were putting that on. And then they kind of had a laugh about it. And he was like, yeah, no, for sure, I'm from Chicago. Like, it was well executed. So I enjoyed that. I feel like if someone lesser did that, it would have been very cringe. So happy for his success in this limo exit.
Yes, he landed that for sure. So you get some points for that guy, this gimmick car, and it worked though. So I thought it was a good, and we're gonna see that there's a lot of Andrew in the season previews. So you're gonna probably get some points for him. So another gimmick, we have Brendon. I don't know who's Brendon. So Brendon on a moped. Which one? There's a Brendon and a Brendon. I don't know.
Brendon, like that long, straight.
The flat iron guy. Yeah. Flat iron guy. He came on a moped. They didn't really talk that much. Your other guy, Conor. You know, a little joke about the baseball glove, something about a catch or something, probably. Then we had Kyle with a cringe gimmick. I mean, these are people we're getting points for, but it might be the only time we're getting points. But he has the briefs. So it's going to be brief here, and he pulls out underwear that are ripped out of his pants, and then we see the shot of the underwear on the ground with the men. What do you think of this for a gimmick of Mr. Kyle?
I'm not understanding what he was going for other than the pun.
Right?
Like, this is like so lame.
so lame is correct.
Like, that's all. Terrible.
Wait, so you're Conor with a baseball glove. Oh yeah, so he's a Scorpio. Brendon is with the flat ironed hair is a Gemini. And our guy Kyle here is an Aries. So the only person that's really gonna most likely do decently well would be one of your guys, the Conor over there. Because Scorpio goes well with Capricorn. We next get Hunter. Who's Hunter again? Oh, it was probably one of these terrible people that I picked.
Did you come in with the fish? Yeah, you did. It's okay.
God, what did I do? So Hunter came with the fish. Like, this is like that's not good. Like, what if, what if she's a vegan and doesn't, I don't know, wouldn't want to ever go fishing or harm a fish? Like, I don't know. It just seems like it could go wrong. It's not sexy. It probably doesn't smell great. Like, I don't know. I don't know if a fish would be what I would bring to the table.
I feel like people joke about that. Like, if they're on dating apps and the guy has a picture of himself holding a fish.
That's true.
That's actually like, funny. That's when you know to say no to that person. No offense to the fishers out there. You live your truth and you do your thing. I'm just saying, this is like
you're actually 100%. If he made that, if that was a joke, and if he was like, "Hey, how about this for my picture for my Tinder app?" Like, or something like,
exactly.
do a photo shoot of that. That's kind of hysterical. Or like, the other trope, which I don't think they should do, but like a men posing with like a big tiger, a big cat, in like a hot climate country. That's definitely a trope. So it didn't land for me, because like I think that's actually funny, but I just remember him carrying a fish and not caring. So he didn't land that one at all. And then we have another creep machine, was my guy, Jeff, over here, another long-haired like nightmare, coming in on the RV.
A long-haired nightmare? That is so good. Just awful. Ooh.
Wait, oh my God, this could be right. Natalie. Hi, Natalie. Hunter looks like George Stephanopoulos from GMA. Wait, isn't that the same guy that was on? Yeah, wait, on Celebrity Big Brother? Was that him? Am I thinking the wrong person?
He does look like a lot of Greek men that I know. So,
is he Greek?
I don't think so, but maybe.
I don't know his last name.
I don't know many Greek men named Hunter, but either way, I agree that he does kind of look like he could be.
I was thinking of. But anyways, if it's who I think it is, he does kind of look like that person to me.
Mm-hmm.
Tamika's kind of agreeing with me here. I think Andrew's going to be like a side character for the season. Yeah, it seems
like the narrator.
Yeah, he's narrating, and it's because he's Aquarius, man. Like, Aquarius people like talking, getting ideas across, and I think that they're utilizing his like sharpness and wit, and I think that he's going to be great for the season. So I'm happy that he's representing the Aqua people. So yeah, do you want to say anything about Jeff in the RV? Was it his? Like, because we can talk about it now. There's a moment where she has a mini date with him, where they go onto the RV, and he has like a grocery store vegetable platter of like carrots and celery, and he's like thinks it's funny to be moving his clothes off of like the old couch on the RV, and it all seemed really awkward, and it didn't seem like he was intentionally trying to make it be awkward. Like it was bad.
He did like everything he could possibly do wrong in this interaction. Like, one, if that is your RV, and I don't know if it is, but if it is his RV, I hope like you would have cleaned it up first of all.
Yeah.
Him crunching the celery and her being like, at one point you just ate some celery, like completely took me out. I was like, what is happening? Even the iced tea was weird because then he made a comment about how he's like not gonna just give her alcohol or something in here. Like I was like, wait, what's going on? This is so strange. Like you're supposed to be courting this woman, not creeping her out as much as possible.
Not like being like, don't worry, I wasn't going to try to rape you. Like that's not.
I'm like wait, this is not it. Like this is not it. So just absolute fail on his part. Absolute fail.
Yeah, it was so bad. I was so cringe. I was like, okay, well, he's not sticking around, but at least I get some points for that RV. Another gimmick is the gift. The gift
box.
shows up. The box. It shows up. And so I was completely wrong because I was assuming that it was going to be Blake in the box. But this box is another person named James. And he wanted to make sure that he was present for her. So, I mean, if you don't have a cake, you might as well have a big box, a big present. What do you feel about the introduction of the box? And how long it took for them to open it?
Yeah, it was like, I guess the reveal of it just being this James character in a 3-piece suit, who also seems like, I don't even understand him as his personality or what he's going to offer us, but I'm here to discover that because he kind of also seems like a cartoon character to me. But anyways, I think this season had surprisingly small amount of like super, super big entrances. Like I guess maybe the RV is one of them, the ball pit if you want to consider it, and then like the box and the cat. Like those are like really the only like big ones that are like over the top, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I think the box worked well in the sense that it's memorable. Like everyone knew that the box was there, the box was speaking. And he kind of built up to a moment where there had to be some kind of reveal. I think that them not revealing what was in the box when the box came to the stairs or whatever the drew is for Katie was a good thing ultimately for James. So yeah, and it worked really well for Katie too, because I guess again she kind of like I really don't like surprises, so I think that's why I'm having such a hard time like understanding where she's coming from with some of these people that do the more surprising things, because that's like very opposing to my personality, where I'm just like I don't want a box and I don't want to know what's in the box. Like I would just be like, actually the box is out tonight because I don't want to find out what's in there. I'm not even curious.
You're like, if this is going to be indicative of what's going to happen within our relationship, I don't want any of it.
No, that's not for me. So like, but it worked out. I think it's a smart, if they're offering up all these wild entries, I'd rather do the box than some of the other ones.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. It landed better than I expected it to land.
It did, yeah.
Like it became kind of funny in a way that like wasn't too cringe. It was okay. So we have Brendon. He comes. He was honored and excited. They played the connection music. Who's Brendon again? I can't remember these people yet. I thought I knew they were. Oh right. Okay. Yeah. So they definitely
firefighter trainee.
Want us to think that they're going to get together because they played that music. They're just like and it's like violins or whatever, and the swell, and yeah. So I think that they want him to do well, or they're making us like him because he is going to do well, because they know what happened in the whole season when they're editing this together. So
yeah,
they're making us like him. Marcus, I'm glad you're the Bachelorette. I thought he was cute. Mike, can't wait to get to know her. Another gimmick comes up, and that's Cody. What was it though? Oh my god,
the blow up doll.
Oh my god. Okay, so he pretends like it's something serious, and he plays this whole like intimate and best friends and blah blah blah, and like like someone that was by my side this whole time during quarantine. It's been really lonely, blah blah blah. Basically mirroring what she did with the dildo, and so he goes to the limo and he grabs a blow up doll. Womp womp. Like I think it would have been grosser, but I would have rathered a fleshlight than a blow up doll.
Well, they use this as like the entry point into the sex intro montage that was happening here, because it's like all the ones that followed had something to do with like sex or sexual innuendos or whatever. So this was the entry point, and cue the bumbling music again in the background for this silly stuff. But I do think Cody will be someone, one, we know is involved in the fight that doesn't make sense. And then two is just like, they showed him a lot. So I feel like he's going to be around and involved in some drama, other than already being hated by someone for no reason that we're aware of.
No idea. Well, the blow-up doll's name is Sandy. She shakes Sandy's hand. And I mean, okay, that's a blow-up doll. Like we knew that was coming. I wish it was like maybe a prettier blow-up doll, or maybe like be super creepy and be one of those like live real dolls. Like, I don't know. It just, for me, it didn't fully land, even though I get the gag. It would have been, I don't know, if she even like went so far as to like fully dress it up in like an outfit and like pretend like you really had like a relationship with it. I don't know. I don't know how to make this funny or make it work, but it didn't.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Are blow-up dolls funny to anyone? I don't think so.
But I think people think that they are.
I guess. I don't understand. I certainly wouldn't have said yes to this exit choice. But
no. Now,
you live your life, Cody.
Justin, though, my little cutie patootie, talking about his pent-up stress in the past year and stroking it out with his paintbrush. Look at you. I was getting a little shy and blushing when he was saying this, and I was like,
I can.
You didn't get
Does
shy?
That count as a gimmick?
Yes, I think I'll give that one as a gimmick.
No, I didn't get shy. I think if we're gonna really talk about sex positivity, then we don't have to do these types of innuendos. You know what I mean? Or like these types of like, I'm talking about sex, or I'm insinuating that it's sex, but just kidding, it's not. Get it? It's just like, that's not sex positivity. Sex positivity is like being able to speak frankly about it and for it to not feel like a gimmick. So that's my thought on that as a whole. I don't think this is Justin's fault per se.
That he might have wanted to do this innuendo and and then they grouped it with the sex positivity angle, so it makes it look like, oh, they're being open-minded with, you know what I mean? But I think that he was just trying to be like there've been other people that have done kind of flirty innuendos in the past, but it wasn't the theme of the season. So I think that's why for you it's not really landing for you because of how they kind of placed it. But I think that he was just trying to be flirty and silly.
Yeah, and it's clear that he paints, so very clear branding for him, and that'll keep him in the mix for a bit because we know what he's offering. So and cute. He's a bit different than, like, I would consider him one of the guys that she maybe obviously they kiss later on, so there's that, but I think she does have a connection with him, but he seems the most different from the other guys that she has a connection with.
It's true.
If that makes sense.
So Tamika wants to know what person who had a gimmick in prior seasons actually made it far to final 2. I'd have to go do some research. JoJo, yeah, she had the horse's head.
That was the first one that I could think of.
Caitlyn, what she came in and she said like with the crystals with like the sparkle on his cheeks, like, who is she? I actually really laughed when she did that. Not really a gimmick though, but a little bit.
But didn't Caitlyn also say like, I let you plow my fields or whatever? She made like some kind of like sexual joke that worked, because that's also very true to Caitlyn. I have to get back to you on this one, Tamika. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's some though. I'm almost positive.
And she says, I believe, because I put it in stars, that she loves sexual puns. So
yeah, she loves puns.
I love puns too, and so I'm happy that she loves a good pun. So hopefully this season will be tons of puns.
Oh, I'm sure.
Justin probably uses paint in bed. Wouldn't be mad as long as it's edible. Well, didn't they have that as a date on something? I feel like I've seen recently them painting each other and like rolling around and paint on like a canvas. It might have been Love Island or something like that, but I feel like it's happened. Or maybe it was Too Hot to Handle. This? Or maybe it was this. Oh yeah, with Tasha. Tasha and Zach.
Tasha and Zach.
So yeah, maybe they'll be doing that, and she'll paint me like one of your girls. What's that from?
Titanic.
Yeah,
like one of your French girls.
French girls. Okay, another gimmick. We have Christian. Is Christian you? Probably.
No, I'm pretty sure you have Christian.
Who is he again? Oh, him. Yeah, I do have him. He's an Aries. So he has the genie lamp, and he's hoping that he could rub one out together. It kind of grossed me out.
I don't want to hear the phrase "rub out." Rub one out. Like, no.
It's not my favorite terminology. I've heard people say it before, and I was like, okay, it's not part of my chat, but.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the terminology, but if you're like meeting me for the first time and like also competing to win my love, that's not a good start. Yeah, that's not a good start for me. Sorry.
But I'll take the 5 points. I'll take the 5 points. Quartney is another one that gets some points here. I think you have Quartney. Do you? Yes. Where's Mr. Q? He's a Taurus. That's good for her. And he does a little poem rap like type thing, talking about his name, and ends with Quartney with a Q. It was kind of sexual. I did feel that she was uncomfortable. She didn't seem like she was really vibing with it, but it was okay.
And then when he walked away, she did the hip thrusting motion.
So was she like turned on, or was she just trying to like?
No, I think she was just like joking, or maybe like, you know, making that kind of in joke to Caitlyn and Tasha.
Oh, I don't know who mentioned it before, but I definitely enjoyed this part as well with like Caitlyn and Tasha. They've been peeking at what's going on out of the window. I don't know if they actually can see or they're just doing that for the shot. But then the next scene, you see them with like popcorn, like watching the scene. I would love to be a fly on the wall watching those entrances. Like, would that not want? I would want to be in Video Village, like sitting there watching those entrances. Like that would be one reason alone that I would love to be in their shoes. I was like, I just want to see these entrances. Like, that's so fun. So fun. Another gimmick, we got Conor B, your guy. And he's the winner of the night, I think. So nice to finally meet you. He has some whiskers. He's in a full cat suit with a very rosy face because it's hot out, we can tell. And he's in a cat suit. Would the cat suit be the way to your heart?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, no. But the smartest thing he could have done for Katie, I didn't realize like how much she was gonna love the cat thing. Like she loved it. She loved it so much. And I do think that that's kind of endearing in a sense, because it's like she really, to me, like knows who she is enough to be like, regardless of the fact that this man came in a costume, that would normally be like a turnoff for so many other people in the same situation. She was so into it and liked him so much because he actually like put in the effort to understand something that was clearly so important to her, which is her cat. And I kind of love that for her. but I love that for you, Katie. Like, I don't, like, I'm happy that, like, she really resonated with this. I do think that, like, there was also something endearing about that because, I don't know, I don't even understand how I feel about him, but it just worked. There was some kind of natural connection there that was born of this cat suit. And I actually think she was turned on by the cat suit too. So I just like, if that makes her happy, like, good for her. Like, I love it for both of them.
Her. Yeah, like the fact that, you know, you kind of want to bring out the big guns, right? You want to do something that's, hopefully this is really him, and like this is something that he would do, and you kind of want to just like show like, hey, this is me, like take it or leave it. And so if that's an authentic expression of himself, and he wasn't just doing a gimmick that he thought that she would like, and she loves it so much, then it could be that there's this little match made in heaven here, Mr. Conor B. He's a Pisces, so, you know, that's very good for their chemistry. And I'm with you, Tamika, because Katie liked it so much, I liked it. Like, it was, I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, blah. And then she's like, double thumbs up. I'm like, she's like,
she was like, so, like, oh man.
Oh my God. It's like, I was like, okay, this is where we're at. Okay, cool.
When he popped out, and the way that he like the way that he popped out initially and the way his face looked and everything, I was also like, oh my God, no, Conor, oh my God, he's on my team. Oh dear. And like I didn't think it was gonna be him because he had the video package that seemed good. So I was like, what's gonna happen here?
You're like, oh no.
The cat suit was gold standard for this episode. And like actually the best, I didn't see it coming, but I'm glad.
It was not what I was expecting at all. Not at all. Hold on, Natalie here has some comparisons. So Christian looks like Tyler C. Do I think that? I guess a little bit. Quartney looks like Dale and David from Big Brother. I think maybe more Dale than David. Or maybe I could see them as a mix. A little bit. Not bad. I didn't think of it right away. Like, not like how we both thought of, like, you know, Josh Murray, like, and everybody else seems to be thinking that as well. And I feel like Aaron, maybe not in real life, but in his photos, maybe looked more like Dale than Quartney. But I can see maybe it's like a little bit of a mix here. A bit. So in the house, Katie comes in and Marty makes a toast. So I'll give you some points there. He says, cheers to love. But I think this was before Katie came in. And the box is indoors. So I'm wondering, like, so did he stay in the box and they moved it? Like, how did they maneuver him in the box? And like,
I've never seen a dolly moving the box around. So they just preset him for the shots. It's just there.
I don't know how it at all worked. So anyways, the box is now indoors though. So they managed to get the box in. I guess there must have been some double doors somewhere. I'm not sure, or maybe multiple boxes that he just climbs into. I don't know. So she is talking to the girls a little bit, and she says that the cat has her heart so far. So this is when we first really realized that the cat is making history, we'll say right now, as being the most appropriate entrance gimmick yet. It seems like it's really, really working. This is where I made a note. As there's no air conditioner in here, everybody is so sweaty. I would be so sweaty. Like, sweaty is not really good for ball gowns and like suits. No. So I'm wondering, was it intentional? Like, why was it so hot? It definitely should not be hot for the night one thing.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening. I guess like they don't have AC in these rentals. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Because La Quinta, they were also dying. Like they were so sweaty.
I don't know. Maybe it's expensive. Like, I don't know. Okay, so yes, both of us would probably run a top seat if a guy in a cat suit came to you like that. I would just be like, this isn't me. Sorry.
I would actually say, get back in the car and go away.
No, I don't.
I won't be giving you a rose tonight. That's it. I'd be like, actually, don't bother. Like, we're good.
We're good. We figured this one out quickly.
Actually, the worst part was when he said, I'm going to go get myself a glass of milk or whatever inside to tie the whole cat thing together. And I was like, not the milk. That was like the tipping point for me of like not being attracted to the entire thing. I was like, don't add milk into this equation as well. Not lactose.
I mean, I would have rather cheese than like milk if he was in this.
Yeah. I was like, a glass of milk. Oh, I don't want to think about that.
Okay, so we have some couple of one-on-ones. Andrew and Katie have a decent conversation. Katie does the accent back a little bit for a toast. Let's see, I wrote here again. Oh, sorry, shit. Am I rewinding? Okay, I wrote again. Thomas reminds me of Josh Murray. So I guess he really, really does. And he does seem generally excited, and she was impressed by him. So I put a little star there, which I was pretty happy. I guess I'm happy to have him because I'm hoping that he'll do well. I was going to say something. I can't remember. So she grabs David's hand to breathe together. Who's David? Oh, David. He's the cute. The short pants guy. He was super nervous. So they have a little moment there. Okay. Who was the guy with the yellow cue cards that was all sweaty? He was like, he had cue cards and like, I just didn't know who. He was like had cards in his hand. He's just like flipping through some cards and like I didn't go back. I forgot to go back and watch to find out who it was.
I was too busy writing that Marty was sharing his crystals.
That's next. That's next. You get some points there for Marty before he's out the door. He didn't dance for us, but he does get some crystal points for. I'll take that as a gimmick.
I feel bad for the guy. They edited out his earring in the promo shot. That's rude. He's just rocking his personal style.
I don't know who it was though, but somebody gave Katie I think it was Cody. Gave Katie a drink, and so I thought that could be another thing that we look out for.
The drink. Yes.
So that happens not all the time, but like I'm always like to pay attention to that person because I think Zach was that person for Tayshia for a lot of the latter half of the season. So let's see if this is just him injecting himself into this moment or if it's something maybe want to keep a look at. So I'll take some points for that, please. I do have Cody,
it's definitely a way to like form in connection with the lead, I feel, and why people try and do that where they're like, I'm gonna hand the drink, or like that's gonna be like our little thing that we have, or that way for us to connect especially when there's so many people. It's a way to just like have that moment of interaction. So smart play.
I 100% think that like if I was in this situation and I had someone that was always making sure that like I was taken care of, even when they weren't talking to me, it would very much influence how I felt about them. You know, like if I'm just like, oh, thank you so much. I was really thirsty, or like, oh, I brought you a glass of water. Oh, I didn't even ask. Thank you so much. Like that attentiveness would be something that I would recognize and I would be impressed by. So whether it's a play or not, well, that's my thing. I'm like, give me gifts, give me acts of service. Like I'm here. I think I told you my story about my best friend Anna when my air conditioning was broken, and like it was like 40 degrees or like 110 in my apartment because I live on the top floor of a house, and so just so hot. And I was telling her how hot I was, and she's like, "Oh my god! Like I'm at like Home Depot. I'm sending you a fan in an Uber," and she literally bought me a fan. Sent it in an Uber to me because I was like, I was so hot. Like I didn't ask for it. And like, I was like, she loves me. You know what I mean? Like for just to you know, to think to do that. And so acts of service, I very much realize that I've done the test, and gifts, I have them pretty equally. I think they're like 33% each or so is the way I like to rock. I like that. So.
Mine is definitely quality time. And then words of affirmation, I think.
Interesting. I mean, I do find it very fascinating. I do, and I've been kind of trying to notice to see whether or not some signs prefer certain things. And sometimes there is some correlations with like people that are maybe water signs want like the touching, and you know what I mean? Like sometimes it correlates. So
I think Katie's is physical touch. So
I know, yes. she's an earth, but I don't know. She definitely likes physical touch, and I definitely don't like being touched that much at all. Okay, so Greg, though, our guy Greg, he has this gift, and he says that it's a rule for him to not give a gift on a first date. Like, so I was like, what rule is that?
That was a thing.
Not a rule that I've ever known of, and like I would never would say that to anyone. Like, yeah, you know what? I have a rule that I don't give anybody a gift on a first date. Why?
Yeah,
random. What? Like, that's not a good rule. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I thought that it was very distasteful to me, him saying that. But I definitely loved that it was part of the gag because this was from his niece, and she made it, and he got on like the waiting list for this beautiful gift that she was going to present her with, and it was a pastel necklace, colored. It was actually quite nice. Apparently, the child is 3. And I thought it was cute, actually. And I had the idea, because I've been trying to think of something to bring on to Dragon's Den or Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. And I was like, wouldn't that be kind of cute to have like fancy macaroni necklaces? Like, it's like, looks like macaroni, but it's made of like gold or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that could be kind of nice.
Take it to the den.
I'm thinking about it. I have that, and I have also me and my best friend were thinking of doing a duvet thing that opens and you just zip it around and your duvet cover is in. Like, I don't know why it's so difficult to stuff your duvet in the duvet cover. Like, I don't want to be inside the duvet cover with like my arms on the side. Like, I want it just to be easy and just fold it over and zip it around, and my duvet is in the duvet cover. So that's what we're working on right now.
Hey. You never know what will be that big money proposal.
I mean, I'm going to work on it. So you get some points there for your pastel gag. Another gimmick is that she ends up playing hockey with was it Brendon? I'm going to give that a gimmick.
Okay. What? Why did they tell everybody to go outside?
Well, because they had a stack of hockey sticks for everybody.
That was so funny. Okay, so like literally they had to put music underneath this scene because otherwise it was 4 guys with hockey sticks on the concrete and everybody else just drinking on the side and standing and lingering awkwardly. It's like, this is so silly.
So silly.
I couldn't. I was like, nothing's happening. You could tell the guys in the background were like, why are we out here?
There was like, everybody go outside, play some hockey, ball hockey, street hockey. Anyways, it was definitely awkward. I was just rolling my eyes because it's like, obviously the Canadian guy has to play some hockey, even though we've all played hockey when we're growing up. So I get it. But like,
all we do is fight fires and play hockey up here. That's it. That's all we do.
I mean, you have to say though, the people that choose to be firefighters tend to also be people that play hockey. So that we got to put that together as well, because I don't know a lot of people that aren't. You know what I mean? Like I don't know a lot of firefighters that don't play hockey.
Canadian men that would be on the Bachelor are likely to be firefighters and play hockey. And that makes sense.
It does make sense.
That is what it is. I'm sure Kevin loves hockey, I'm sure.
I mean, he looks like he loves hockey for sure.
He looks like he could definitely play hockey.
He played like AAA or like, he went pretty far in hockey. He got like the ladies playing hockey and like, I'm going to play hockey. Like the States, they have football, and in Canada we have hockey. That's like that's what our guys do.
It's all we got.
And lacrosse. So you got a point coming up now. First Kiss Award goes to Mr. Justin. He shows her an unfinished painting of the roses that we saw in his package. He left a space in the middle where he wants to be cleaning it as he goes on this journey with her, like rose petal at a time, whatever he said. I thought it was nice. But that kiss was a lot more intense than I was expecting it to be. I was like, whoa, was like quite startled by the aggressiveness of this kiss, but she looked smitten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at first I was like, oh, is he really going to go in for this kiss right now? I wasn't feeling that was where this interaction was going, but then she was clearly very receptive. So good job, Justin. You got the first kiss. Made a good impression and a memorable impression with the painting. I do think like we can strive for more than like a high school art project's worth explanation of the outline of the heart in roses and the middle represents how that's going to be filled. Like that's really great if you're in high school, I think. But the painting itself was actually not bad.
And I think he's actually pretty talented.
It was the explanation more so that was very
well, he's probably just like, oh God, like I have to still follow through with this stupid painting gimmick. Like he probably doesn't even want to be doing it anymore. Like it's probably not his idea. That he's just like, yeah, I can paint. And it's like, okay, well, how about you do this? Yeah. Like, okay. So yeah, I don't know if this is fully his idea, but he probably just shared, you know, like there's probably like story creators, you know, like, okay, so what are you good at? What's your talents? And like, they probably are creating like their gimmick or their angle on the show. They have to be having these interviews with people. So
yeah, otherwise what, like who else set up the easel with the painting on it? Like,
Exactly. So this is where I'm getting a little bit worried for my guy Thomas here, or Josh Murray number 2, because he really wants that first impression rose, and I'm like, oh, anybody that really wants the first impression rose is definitely not going to be getting it, and he might be getting some points later in the season because if he's like that, like I need to get this rose, like I can see him getting into fights, be like, you're not here for her, I'm here for Katie. Like I can see that kind of happening. So getting a little worried for Thomas, but still I think he's a cutie pie and I want him to stick around for a bit. Another gimmick comes along and it's our guy Karl with his poster with the adventures of Katie and Swiss. And there's her with the vibrator in the poster. I was like, okay.
I mean, I guess that's cute. No. This comic, like I don't understand who he commissioned to make this, but sure.
It didn't land for me, but wait, Karl is my guy. That's motivational speaker, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take the points for this one. Okay, that's when Jeff takes her to the RV. That was awful. We already talked about it. And then I have question mark, star. Aaron telling Cody that he doesn't like him? Do they know each other from before? What's happening here? And then it was never resolved.
No. It cut in the middle, and like it felt like it cut in the middle of the scene. I don't know if they're trying to do some kind of gritty documentary series energy this season, and maybe later on they'll flash back and be like, remember this? But I'm just confused about how this was thrown in.
Very confusing.
And I want to know what he did. Like, what happened?
Me too. Well, we will find out, I would say, because spoiler alert, they both end up staying. But yeah, I want them to clear this up because it just was like, Aaron goes back into the house and like he looks like he's pissed off. People are like, you're pissed, and like he's like, I'm cool. Like, I don't know. It was just very bizarre, the whole thing. I had no idea what happened, and so hopefully they better resolve it because it's just bizarre. Too weird. I have to say though, I laughed pretty hard that the box had a confessional.
The box,
like, just like on its own, it had like. Anyways, I thought that was funny.
They built it. They painted it. They wrapped it.
They went for it.
Use it as much as they can.
Definitely, I was definitely impressed by that. And then, okay, so Justin, and I don't know who the other person was, brings the box to Katie, and it was a James in the box. And so he wants a hug. He's in a 3-piece suit. She was going to help him out of the box, but he kind of just like hops out of the box. He's really coiffed. She's intrigued. And she says she definitely has a crush on him. I'm like, what is happening?
So I felt too. I was like, you do? Why? I'm so confused. There's so much hair product in.
Red flag central. And I was like,
I was so like, all right, sure, whatever. She was into the box.
I mean, maybe she just likes the grand gestures, or like, I don't know. Shock. I don't have a crush on him.
I just want to know like how she came to these like conclusions in her mind. It's like I thought I knew what she was gonna feel, and I was so wrong on so many occasions. She's so unpredictable.
I mean, this is making it enjoyable for me because it's just completely different from how I would be going about these people. So that's probably why I'm going to enjoy it so much. And then the cat has another moment where they do from the movie Big, the piano scene where they're like playing Heart and Soul on the piano, like on the floor. So I don't know. Do you get another point for that? Because they're bringing out the piano. It's kind of a music part. Yeah, I'll give you some points for that.
Sure. I mean, that's a big prop.
It's a big prop. I mean, he already had the cat thing, but like also the piano, I guess, is another thing. So yeah. And then the Adventures of Catman and Boxman. I don't know who said that. Probably Andrew. And then we see an aggressive kiss with the Catman, and I was like, "What?" Like,
I think they made out.
Yes,
like, that was a makeout.
Like, wow. Like, I don't know. It was just.
I didn't see it coming. She had cat ears on.
Like,
she had the whisker paint all over her face. Like, again, it kept cutting back and forth in this way where I was like, where are we and what's happening? How much time has passed? I'm so confused. Also, did you notice they didn't really have any, like, can I steal you?
No,
in there?
like two, maybe. I remember seeing one for sure, and then I'm just giving maybe a second one happened I don't remember, but I only can remember one. Like
it didn't feel like the normal tension, maybe because these interactions were entertaining in their own right, and they were able to just kind of let them play out. But yeah, they have clear chemistry too. And I think she was really like enjoying the fact that the catsuit was a thing. And I can't, like, who knew?
Well, Michael, I get some more points for other Michael because he has a picture of his dog, Tommy, because, Katie has a cat named Tom or Tommy as well, Tomcat. So, and also mentions that he has a 4-year-old son. So I'll give another points there for that moment. So the first impression Rose comes around and she decides to give it to Greg. And so she does say something that I like, I hope this gives you some validation. And then he says, can I get a kiss? I was like, wow, so 3 kisses this episode. Right? Yeah, Justin, Greg, and Catman.
And Conor,
Conor. So pretty impressed that Greg went in there for that kiss. That's pretty ballsy. I was happy about that. But I was still surprised that she gave it to him. I thought maybe Justin, just because they had that first kiss, and like obviously Conor having the second kiss. Like I thought it would have been one of the people that she kissed already, but she's probably just saving that for later for the drama of it all. So that's pretty much it for the episode, and then we get to the rose ceremony. So she definitely saying that she wants. This has nothing to do with you as a person. Like I'm just really here for an engagement. I'm here for me, and if I send you home, it's just because you're not right for me. So I'm happy that she kind of prefaced this because some people could definitely go down like "what's wrong with me" type vibes. And so she kind of just said like we just weren't right for me. And it didn't seem like anybody was like super upset leaving. It didn't show anyway, like any crying in the limos or anything like that. So I'll just quickly go through the order. So we have Trey, Michael A, Thomas, Garret, Connor B, Andrew S, James, Justin, Quartney, Karl, Mike P, John, Kyle, Andrew, Josh, Connor C, Brendon, David, Aaron, Christian, and then the drama that I didn't know that they were creating by having that friction with Aaron. Cody was the last person, so I don't know if they're trying to make Cody the villain here, or Aaron the villain, or some sort of fight thing happening. But I don't know. There was no drama in him being the last pick because I was like, okay, who's it going to be?
I was like, of course it's going to Marty. No, I'm just kidding.
So like, I think
obviously.
I think I added 5 points for the last pick because then it's someone that's going to probably cause some drama. So that was something else you're looking out for. And so I guess I think who went home was Jeff, the RV guy, Marty, your dance man, Brendon, your turtleneck guy, Austin. Who's Austin? I don't remember who Austin is. Marcus, who we didn't see at all, but I wanted to get to know him. Actually, we can do this like this. Hold on. Let's just take a look here while we finish out. Okay. So who's gone now? We have, so Marty's out. I'm just going to pull him down at the bottom for now. We think Brendon is out.
That's Gabriel, but he's also out.
Okay. Right. Who else on your team is out right now?
Brendon is out. He's in the bottom left.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Whoopsie.
I think everybody else on my team stayed.
Okay, so bring that down here. So I guess we both had 3 people go. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it somehow ended up being equal.
So Marcus is gone.
Austin.
Who's Austin?
He's in the red like polo.
Oh, him. We didn't see him at all, so I guess it makes sense. And then
I think
Landon's gone. Yeah. Oh, and Jeffy is gone.
Oh, and Jeff, of course. How can we forget?
Okay, so I'll fix that next week just so we can have an extra space on the bottom so we can see all our fallen soldiers. I guess it's good for me that I had the extra player in the end because like it's still even now. So that's what we're looking at. So you can see both of our teams now. Let's even this out a little bit. Actually, I should have done it this way. It's cuter. Yeah, okay, looking good. I mean, your team is looking really good.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really great about having Greg and Conor be on my team. Of course, Justin, great. Mike, gonna bring that religious virgin storyline into the play, and Blake hasn't even arrived yet. So I'm feeling strong.
I'm happy though with Cody though seeming to have some drama that we didn't know about. So it seems like he's going to cause some a little bit of a ruckus, which I'm here for. I mean, we didn't really see the people that are going home in this whole episode, so I don't need them to be around. So whatever, it's fine. I was hoping to see Marty do some dancing, but they definitely didn't look like they connected. So B is asking, who's the guy that brought the first impression rose? Why not Tasha or Caitlin? Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't even remember who brought it in. I kind of bleeped that out.
I'm glad he got his moment to shine.
Yeah, you got paid probably scale.
You probably less than scale.
Ooh, okay. Reality says that they're already filming Paradise in Mexico and surprising people on there. I mean, I feel like it's been kind of teased who's going to be over there, but I'm looking forward to Paradise. We didn't really talk about it, maybe we did, but I'm excited to see David Spade. I think that they're doing a little bit of Rolodex of people hosting Bachelor in Paradise. I'm fine with it. If I only need to see Wells and Sarah for 2 weeks, that's cool. If it's going to be Chelsea Handward for 2 weeks, I'm into it. Like, so I don't really mind this, especially if they play up on the gimmickiness of Paradise. So hopefully if they're using comedians, they will bring some of their own kind of funny to it. And I'm okay with it. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel even, like, he loves The Bachelor and he has the Bachelorette on. Katie was on his show like yesterday, and he would be great. I would love to see Jimmy Kimmel host Bachelor in Paradise. Like, he would just be so funny. I think he's really funny. I love him.
It's cool if they're able to give like kind of commentary on it too, like in the way that the bartender normally kind of has like their side comments about like what's happening or having a conversation with someone. I could imagine if like a comedian is the host or whatever that looks like, that they have like some kind of funny commentary about what's happening would be interesting, especially like if they really lean into the cheese of the show in the same way they do with the theme song and everything. So I'm interested. I'm interested.
Me too. I mean, especially if they're comedians that are fans, they're fans of it because it's so ridiculous. And so they're going to play up on that. And they're not going to be taking themselves too seriously. And if they do, that's hysterical, but like they won't. And so I'm into having fans that are comedians do anything that they want with the show. I'm totally down with it. So are you able to do a little mini tally, or do you need some time?
I have it, but I think we need to just make sure that we caught everything.
Okay, no problem.
And I did like single tally, but each thing is worth 5 points, obviously, as we discussed.
All right.
Well, make sure we didn't miss anything.
I believe you. I don't think that you missed anything. Does yours look really a lot bigger than mine? How does that look?
It's like...
Yeah, so you look like you have like 4 more than me. Okay, that's not so
bad. It's not that much. So it's not that much.
20 right now-ish. Okay, cool. All right. I believe that. I believe that. I think I'll be able to tell what we had points for because it was pretty obvious this round. And so I'll double check, and then I will post that in our little tier maker over here so we can keep track of these men. Well, this has been super fun. Like, I have not had this much fun talking about The Bachelor first episode in a while.
So nice.
I'm hoping that it's going to continue this way. I think looking out for these different tropes and stuff like that will make it entertaining for us to be watching the show and talking about it after. Sure. So I love doing this with you, and I love you guys in the chat room. So thank you, Natalie, BB, Tamika, Sam, Joseph, Sophie, and Dolores. And if I missed anybody, I'm very, very sorry, but we do love spending our time with you. So do you have anything lastly to say about your thoughts of this episode, your host for the season? Maybe a quick thought of that preview?
Oh, yeah. So this extended preview, fantastic. I'm really excited to see some of this
I was
stuff.
like this.
Looks like someone is going to be like critically injured with whatever is happening with that back injury, which looked very scary. We saw the appearance of some Bachelor alum in the preview. I saw Nick Viall there. I saw him in the preview. Blake, can't wait for him to arrive, despite the fact that I, famously loathe him. But he's on my team, and I know he's gonna bring some entertainment to us. I'm just excited. Actually, genuinely excited. Makes me realize how weird last year's seasons were. To your point earlier.
Yes.
Like, I think we were just desperate for the entertainment that I was like latching on to it, being like, maybe. But now that we're out of that dark period, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what it means to like watch and enjoy this show. And not watch and be like, oh God, what's happening?
Oh, it's just so much later. So this is something that I missed. So rumor is that Chris gave execs a deadline at the Bachelorette premiere, or he was going to release a tell-all book, including Dirt on Flays. Aww, he would have made more than $50 million on a tell-all book. Come on, Chris.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. Whatever. But like, I want that book. I need to know what happened. But yeah, I think that this is all she wrote for today. Thank you, B Bean. Thank you, Alexament. Nice name. Thanks for joining us. Nice to meet you. And of course, thanks. We have a great time here on Reality Realness with 3 S's. Just do it. Subscribe. Next milestone is 10,000 subscribers. So help us get there. As soon as we get there, the soon we can give back another landmark prize. So Natalie, please message me so I can give you your gift card for Amazon. And then we are going to just start trying to get to 10,000. So let's get there. Love you guys. Thank you.